So how do you fix government contracting? Stick around and I'm going to tell you my thoughts on how we can fix it. Good evening, Agile acquisition enthusiasts, and welcome back to the Underground Digital Tiki Bar. It's Friday night, and that means it's time for another episode of Agile Acquisitions and Alcohol. On tonight's episode, what's he drinking? Well, I'm having a rye whiskey. It's called Few. It was ordered for me by my lovely wife, and I'm gonna go ahead and give it a try tonight, let you know what I think. So cheers. It's really good. It's got a little bit of a caramel and spicy, maybe cinnamon flavor. Not spicy like the mango habanero from another video, but you know, just a kind of bold flavor. So it's very good. Enjoy it. But let's get going. Okay. So recently I was asked how would I fix contracting? You know, no small task, but I thought I'd give it a try. And in doing so, you know, I sort of identified the problems as whether they're cultural or statute or policy. And, you know, the reality is the problems are cultural. There's no question. And we know this because we've seen really great examples of efficient, innovative acquisitions executed under the FAR and the DFAR and current regulations and policies. So it is absolutely possible to do. And that means that the problem exists outside of that. The problem is cultural. So if the problem is cultural, then really all we need to do is drive culture change, right? Well, actually, I disagree. The culture is so ingrained. It's at so many different levels and so far and wide that attempting to battle the culture alone, it's definitely part of it, but attempting to battle the culture alone is taking the battle one step, one action, one activity at a time, and it will just take forever. In my opinion, the most effective way to actually change contracting so that it's efficient and effective and meeting the needs of government agencies and therefore the citizens who are receiving the services from these government agencies is to actually just develop a new law, a new statute that covers the way we acquire software development services and other modern technologies, to and include how we procure the cloud and hosting services like that, you know, the ability in which we can buy things on a commodity-like basis, on a utility-like basis. We just need to change the whole structure. Not because we can't do it in today's structure, but because attempting to do it in today's structure requires you to counter decades and decades of just experience and habit and templates, to be totally honest. Because the secret to contracting, like the secret to coding, is using someone else's stuff. And if everybody is using someone else's stuff, then nobody's innovating new ways to do it, right? So when you're writing contracts or contracting documents, if you're using historical documents as a starting point, you're baking in the past decisions, which may have made sense at some point, but don't necessarily make sense in today's situation. So when you create a new environment and you say you're not to use all of the things in the past, you're to create this new process, then you open up people's minds to consider how would you do it today to buy the things that you need now, and not how did you do it before to buy the things you may have needed back then. That's what we're trying to change, right? And we know that this can work. I think OTAs, other transaction authorities, have demonstrated that this is one way to spark innovation. But you might be thinking, then why not just leverage OTs? And I do. I think they're great. But OTs come with a little bit of a challenge too. OTs have a little bit of history, of course. But the bigger problem is OTs, when they were created, they weren't explicitly for buying modern software development services and technologies. Congress was nice enough to expand the basic intent of US 2371 with US 2371B under NDAA 2016, for anyone who's keeping track, to include prototyping. And that prototyping capability has been leveraged, and I think with congressional support, to use for software development services. So I think we've seen, one, that this works, and two, we see that that's a way to do it. However, there are still people who debate about you know, what exactly is a software prototype, and when does the prototyping phase end? And it's just different. It's not wire diagrams and duct tape and baling wire. It's prototyping in software development can be pretty extensive. You know, beta and alpha testing and MVPs, and you know, when is it fully operational such that it doesn't qualify as a prototype is it's kind of like a philosophical discussion, and it's fun to have unless you're trying to get an acquisition out the door, and in which case it's a total waste of time because who cares? If what we're really trying to do is efficiently execute an acquisition and the flexibilities of OT allow us to do it, who cares about spending time debating whether or not an OT is absolutely appropriate to use in this manner? Well, the answer is a lot of people care. Lawyers care, you know, IG care, people care, right? I mean, people in industry may care, Congress probably cares, right? So they care, right? But if you're the one trying to get an acquisition out the door, you definitely don't care. And so that's why I'm suggesting using the model of the other transaction, but creating one that's explicitly for software technologies, software development services, something that is intended to say, use your brain, be innovative. What is the best way to buy this today in today's market? We want to buy things that industry buys. We want to buy it in a way that industry buys it efficiently and effectively. So there you have it. That's my opinion on how to fix contracting. Blow it all up, start over. Not because we have to, but because it's the fastest way to fix it. Start from square one and go from there. And then in 10 years, we'll start again. If you're enjoying these videos, please remember to subscribe, give me a comment. Most importantly, keep innovating. And until next week, cheers.